The nation of Canine, a name which reaches the heavens, a nation with powerful Drenga, blessed by the gods' lovely citizens, and led by competent leaders. Currently, this nation is situated in the Kajathros continent, north of the mighty Izan, east of the great nation of Halg. This nation is arguably one of the strongest in the continent. Hence, today, let's study the history of this mighty nation, filled with epic tales of war, religion, and contagious Drenga. It all started in Rithia. One lovely night, a wandering traveler named Canid, after whom the nation was named after, established a town in a nearby mountain. They soon joined the Lxsury. Everything was going well, the town was developing. Canid was happy. He lived a happy life. Till one night, the tables turned. See, the Lxsurys were at war with the Barbonians. The Rathian nerds called it the Golden Wars. Canid made the mistake of establishing his town on the outskirts of Lxsury, most famous capital of Lxsury. That night, as Canid and his friends were near his campfire, drinking, they heard an arrow whistle. They thought the beer did them no good and they were hallucinating, but soon the skies were covered with arrows. Suddenly, multiple people with torches entered the sanctuary, which was just visible from the mountains. The Barbonians had attacked Lxsury and were fighting unprepared. It was an ambush. The capital was about to fall. Canid feared for his citizen and escaped the town before the ill-eyed of the barbaric Barbonians. Lxsury also kind of forced Canid and his people to move after the Golden Wars ended. So, the flock travelled to a much safer place in the northern parts of Lxsury. They just couldn't make the heart to leave the boundaries of their nation. They settled on an island far away from the clutches of war, but unfortunate for them, their happiness was limited. The town they called, the city they settled at in the Canine Islands of Bardawolf, the might of Alba, the grey wolf god of adventure, power, mischief, death, king of the gods, and the curse of Haven, the infernal wolf, and god of death, war, wrath, strategy, fire, and destruction, heir of the chief gods. A plague fell onto the island, killing most, all while others fled, making the land barren. The island was filled with dead bodies, rats, orcs, decomposing the island. King Canid I was recently coronated, his dreams died, and the Lxsury declared Canine, and their race officially dead. It was all over. Canid went to the Nether to meet with Haven to question the events. Until this guy, named Henry, he was a Drenga, fighting for his life courageously in the Lxsury's Golden Wars. But bad luck struck. It was like a curse. The Lxsury formed two nations, one loyal to Empress Lxsury and the other one loyal to Empress Katrina. Both blamed each other for the Golden Wars. Inevitably, the world saw the largest civil war yet. Both the factions claimed their swords. As the sounds of war echoed throughout heaven and earth, even the mighty devil himself had his throne shake as the war continued. And yes, of course, our main character, Henry, was involved and played a major role in this war. He was today's equivalent of a minigun. There were two imploding factions in Lxsury, the Loyalists and the Imperialists. Well, now remember the abandoned plague-ridden town, the Isle of Canine? Well, earlier, Montauk bought Canine, the deal they would have total control, and they would leave Montauk in the future if Canine wished. Empress Lxsury's faction won the Imperious Lxsury, though they skirmished and had little effect on the overall outcome of the war. They won the battle. After the Treaty of Solyra was signed, Henry, on the permission of Lxsury, was gifted the island of Canine, and as a result of his bravery, he was now Duke of Canine, enticed by the beauty of the island. Upon receiving the island, Henry and the initial founders, Akiovosken and Nate Finch, first rebuilt the church in order to have the first wedding on the island, Henry Finch and Akiovosken. During the rule of Henry, the town saw development, and even the Second Battle of Canine, which I won't elaborate for now. He even bought various islands from the western parts. As he grew older, he retired and passed on his reign to William Hadrianus, who was renamed William I. He even contributed a lot, but one prominent thing he did was change the name of the Duchy of Canine to the Kingdom of Solyra, and declared it independent. After the fall of Oldoras due to political instability, William's best decision was to maintain good relations with the Horde, who were eating and eating the nearby small nations. Soon, the Kingdom of Solyra became extremely active, and William decided to join Dara Luminide and then merge with Nebula to form the Empire of Solyra, making it a diarchy. For the greater good of the Empire, William gives the throne to his successor, Vulcan Hadrianus. William then decides to develop the Empire trusting Canine to his son. But rumors spread that due to an apparent ritual, Vulcan was cursed by the devil. And then the falling of his great horse, where he was injured, he fell ill, leading his brother, Veni, to become the temporary regent. Vulcan, now fully recovered, is appointed as Izan. Following, Ingol joining the Empire of Solyra as a province after great efforts from Izan Vulcan and Izan Anik of Solyra. This came at the cost of creating an enemy and rival known as Stoneworks, led by Ghost Climax. After a while, pressures from Stoneworks and the risk of war, May 16th of 2023 proved to be a bad day for the Empire, as due to some confidential reasons, Nebula left the Empire of Solyra. The Empire was dissolved, and hence Solyra was renamed the Kingdom of Canine. Soon, Ingol was forced to leave Solyra, and Dara Luminide as Vulcan thought it was best to prevent war for now. AK, the leader of Ingol, sad and forced, sold his land to Ghost Climax and spent his final days in Magalai, Canine. But Vulcan was angry at Nebula for all the problems he caused, as well as the burning of the great Solon archives. He secretly convinced one of the provinces of Nebula, Triton, to join them. This was successfully done by the leader of Triton, Anik. Right after that, Canine joined a strong nation that was annexed into Dara Luminide, called Etheria, to show the might of the Canid people to all of heaven and Nebula. Following that, Vulcan set out for a pilgrimage, when a messenger rushed inside the camp and brought bad news. Asai had declared war on their overlords, Dara Luminide. Etheria left Dara and joined Asai, meaning that Canine was now part of the Asai, something that the citizens of Canine didn't want. Vulcan, in a mess of decisions, decided to leave Etheria and Asai and rejoin Dara Luminide, only to start secret negotiations with Elphagog, the Emperor of Asai, and soon after signing the new Treaty of Barderwolf, Canine joined Asai, betraying Dara. The Kingdom of Canine is now a province in the state of Kreyalp in the Crown Lands of Asai. Canine loses many citizens who choose Dara Luminide and Etheria over Canine. Theo tries to get Canine back. A few days after Canine joins Asai, and while the Asai v Dara war continues, Etheria, a vassal of Asai, wants Canine to rejoin it, as it had merged illegally when it left Etheria. A cube was brewing, and a Canine civil war was coming up. This, however, fortunately leaked by one of the insiders, Henry, after he admitted his mistake in taking part of the planned coup. He revealed his role and who was involved to Vulcan, Hydin and Kreyalp. The plan included a small ultimatum Aduna had for Canine, and who was going to become the next king/duke. Due to the fact that Skip was able to reveal the coup just in time, Vulcan ordered a mass investigation with the brutal expulsion of anyone related to Etheria. Like Anth and Hadrianus, who claimed the Canite throne, was swiftly disowned and exiled. Anth was killed if he entered Canite territory, while Kofia and Joan and Astarlium were exiled due to a leak with Etheria. Although Vulcan believed everything was saved, Etheria managed to steal swords. Vulcan found about this later and used his political standings and pressure to get their swords back. Maintain peace and order, and gain back the trust of its citizens, Vulcan made an official constitution on September the 4th, 2023, or making Hydinus hybrid the heir to the throne. In Kreyalp, the Vizier Stan, or Third in Power, attempt to divert the Canid citizens' attention. Those who supported Vulcan during the harsh times were rewarded with great positions, and those who were against were exiled. Canine prospered under Asai's overlordship and Vulcan's reign. The Solyra central bay, which was under Izan Vulcan, was repurposed for Canine, and the Betrayals Bazaar was created. And the Chunkers Holdings, a company, the Canine Ice Railway network, was also connecting Canine and the rest of the haven via a highway. Canine also made alliances with the approval of Asai's emperor, with the Defer and Lenora, two other provinces in Asai. One notable structure that was built during this time was the Fiery Dragon statue, meant to honor this friendship and the search to find Fiery the Dragon of the Fire, who was lost, and to honor the nether that belonged to the god of Haven. Triton, the town of Canine, gained from Nebula, had Simic as their leader. However, during the Asai-Dora Wars, Simic wasn't sure of joining Asai. Out there, Vulcan gave Simic the option to choose Dara and join Canine back if they wanted to, or just join Canine. A reply to this message was never received, and soon after, Dara Luminoid capitulated. Triton was a part of Canine. Vulcan gave Triton to a close friend of Simic, and the High Marshal of Canine, Lxsury. However, due to some miscommunication and more, Noria bought Triton without consulting Vulcan, the king of Canine. This was a time of extreme tensions and wars were prevalent everywhere. Vulcan complained to Asai, who agreed to give them the land of Stolysk, a former enemy and rival to Canine, when they go to war against them, as reparations for Triton. Soon after, the time would arrive, the start of the Asai-Stolysk War. This was a swift war, as they yeeted their enemies. The once ghost climax with a high ego had been silenced, as Asai gave a favour to Rathna by removing Stolysk off the map. Asai gave the lens of Hydin, former Stolysk's capital, to Hydin, to Solyra, a former Ingol to Canine, which made Vulcan a popular leader, who led Canine to glory and expansion. Asai soon dissolved, and the kingdom of Canine, after pulling some right strings, became independent. And then guess what happens? As soon as Canine becomes independent, this motherfucker Stony declares the end of Rathnia and Elderham. A comet fell. Now Vulcan, having settled in the new lands of Abelix, joined hands with their old friends, being under Kazanite and merging with Versenberg. Now Vulcan, who was on his deathbed, was proud of what he had achieved. Before going, he established a diarchy of the Canine of Hydin, in the game name, Hybrid. And my dear friend, Kreyalp, Canine is a nation of honor, of wars, of Drenga, a land of betrayal, a tale of love, an epic of bravery. If you're looking for all these factors in one place, then Canine is for you.